So yeah, guys, when we were invited to do a talk here, we thought, well, what could we be doing that is interesting for this kind of professional audience? And let's face it, obviously you guys know all the pro secrets and you know how to do your job. So we thought, well, maybe it would be interesting for you to get a little to know about how we do our job. And usually when I start these kind of talks, that's a little earlier during the day, and I ask everyone if they have grabbed their cup of coffee already. But since it's in the evening hour, some of you might have advanced to some cold beer or something. If you have, enjoy. I'm going to do my best not to bore you. Although, yeah, this is bad. I don't really want to collide with Sir Sean Connery, so I really have to do my best not to bore you. For those of you who know the movie, he's saying something else directly after that, but I think that's not something that I can repeat during such a presentation. Anyway, so we thought what might be interesting for you, and talking about how we do our job seems to be interesting because we believe that we can learn from each other and that we can use community resources to streamline our workflow. And so we came up with the topic of theme fusion behind the scenes. I'm going to show you a little about the sections of this talk regarding how we are going to do, or how we are doing our job. So I'll first cover a little history of our company, then give you some insights about who we are today, how we work today, then what is our product about and how we develop it, how does the community work together with us, and finally what I call the Mr. Smartypants corner, so a few recommendations that we have for you. Yeah, time really goes by. So the business for us started in 2012. And when the business first was launched, the second part of name was professional development by Harris. And this was our basis right from the start, and we tried to keep that just the same. So a basis between development and design, and let all the things flow together to get to good results. Although in the beginning, well, we developed two themes that were no big success, so we had to go completely back to the drawing board and thought, well, what could we be doing? So we thought, well, we have to completely focus on making the user experience the best that we can, making a theme that is very simple and intuitive and even fun to use. And with the launch of Avada, everything changed, and that was on August 16th in the same year. And within the first 4 days, we sold 150 copies, which back then could be considered a huge success. And within the second week, we climbed the #1 spot. And interestingly, now it's 8 years later, and this really hasn't changed since these 8 years. So we've remained in the #1 spot regarding the item sales for 8 consecutive years. And with every birthday that we had, it did bring new challenges, but also new rewards. And when I'm talking about challenges, that can be a couple of things. If it is changes in the market as a whole, or in the WordPress industry, or if it's different needs that come up from users and customer side, you try to do your best to shape the product in a way that it can cope with all these challenges. I'm going to do a little walkthrough through some of our major versions to give you an insight about what kind of challenges that we faced. So let's start with version 1. And as I said, it was a big success right from the beginning, but what was very important for us was how can we keep it going? And for that, it was needed to get in, I don't know, countless hours of user feedback to find out what is actually what our users want to be improved and stuff like that. But in order that you can validate and do something with user feedback, you first have to collect user feedback, and I'm going to be back to exactly that in a few minutes. So getting started and then keeping it going was very important in version 1. And we had 12 successive updates there to just make that happen. In the major versions of Avada 2 and 3, we just kept exactly that going. So we, based on the user feedback that we got in, we implemented a tons of features for our users to deliver them the best product that was possible. And that means that you have to stay on top of changes in the WordPress core and also in the WordPress industry in general. So this is something that we generally do recommend. Always keep an eye on the direction where WordPress is going so that you can adjust your products in the way that it is needed. With Avada 3.6, and this was September the 14th, I think, in 2014, we knew that we needed to allow more freedom for our users, and this is how Fusion Builder was actually born. Moving on to the next major version, which was Avada 4, we took a step back after we had implemented a CSS compiler as one of the first ones in the business, and thought, well, is there something that we can do better that is already working quite well? And we found out that we should do something regarding our options network. And this is one of the features that our customers love most. So we thought, well, we do a complete overhaul of that to make the user experience even better. And this is the same course that we kept going with Avada 5, because already then, and as I said earlier, the page builder was introduced in 3.6, but in Avada 5, we completely rewrote our builder to lay a future foundation which was performance optimized, and where we wanted to make sure that we have the right foundation that we can carry out anything that we envision for the future. And this has happened in the last major versions from Avada 6 to 6.1, 2, and 3, and now the upcoming release of Avada 7, where we first took the whole building experience to the front end so that you have a really what you see is what you get editor, but also to set up the Avada website builder, which allows you to customize all parts of your website, where usually you would need coding experience, you need template overrides and stuff like that. But as I said, we focused on keeping it simple for our users. So we do the heavy lifting for them so that they have a more streamlined experience. Through that, we did gain a quite broad audience, really, and I'm just going to show you a few figures to see how our business actually developed throughout these versions. So we got our first 100,000 clients in December 2014. In April 2016, we had 200,000 customers. In April 2017, 300,000. In March 2018, 400,000, 500,000 we reached in April 2019, and finally this June we reached 600,000 customers. So approximately every 12 months, another 100,000 customers. And through that, obviously a lot of feedback is also coming in, and I'm going to be back to that in a bit. So this brings us to who we are today. I'm going to show you a few gangsters on there, and we're not living as models and dressmen. But we are currently 22 team members, and we will soon be expanding to some more team members. I'm also showing you how our team is located. We talked about it in the beginning. Diversity. We believe this is creative. I'll give you some stats about the company, first starting with the real company stats and then some more private stats about our staff members. So we currently have about 2.2 million visitors on our site per month. We currently have 605,000 sold products. We do have new support tickets per year in the amount of 50,000. So again, a lot of feedback comes in there. The same is the amount of demo downloads that Avada ships with per month. It's also 50,000, and our team currently works about 38 hours per year. Obviously, that means a lot needs, we do need a lot of drinks per year. And what I found interesting in actually setting up the presentation was that the 120 is actually larger than the amount of cups of coffee, which is only 5,100. I was surprised by that. And if you can believe our staff members, we obviously also drink about 350 bottles of vodka per year. But well, the guys of you who are in the development business will know why. Some even more personal stats. In the last 3 years, we did have 6 weddings within the team. And we also had 6 babies within the team, although weddings and babies don't really match, but that's a different story. But one of the babies has already been hired as a beta tester for us, and this is Damian, and he keeps testing our new product versions from all angles. And then there's another 6 that we have in the statistics, and believe it or not, that of breakups of one single developer of our team. You don't believe that? Well, here is some evidence for it. That's a screenshot from Skype that I actually collected when doing the presentation, so it is true. So that brings us to what are we actually doing, and that is we want to create a product that is easy to use for our users and that they really can't refuse as an offer. And as I've already told you, we're creating the Avada website builder, and now I want to show you something. The sky is the limit, more or less, when you do development work. So how is our company structured? It is flat hierarchy in our company. We have 6 departments. I'm starting with a senior and PR department, and what we are doing here is this is the department where all the decision making is done. That is actually, this department is just steering the ship. Any kind of business related decisions, product management, staff hiring, business plans, and all kinds of that stuff. Obviously, marketing and PR are done within these departments. And this department is working closely together with all the other departments in our company. People are working in this department, and all the magic happens that the product can actually do. To make sure everyone is aware of the best practices, and also to make sure that everyone is aware of what is going on in WordPress core. The development team is also our update server infrastructure and for websites if it is our demo showcases or our company site. The next department is the design department, and these guys are literally everywhere. If it is UI or UX related things that go into the theme, if it is the demos themselves that people can import for their business, or if it is marketing material that needs to be created, everything is coming from the design department there. Next up is the support department, and we believe that is something that is very, very important. So we think that excellent support is the backbone of any successful software company. And because of the size of our business, this is the department where most people work, currently 8 team members. And as I said, we have 50,000 support tickets per year, new support tickets per year. And they just keep our customers happy and keep in good connection with the customers. So really a huge asset to the company as a whole. And finally, we do have a documentation department, and that could probably be the most underrated department a theme company or any software business can actually have. We think that the connection that support provides between ThemeFusion as a company and our customers is the same connection that documentation provides between Avada as a product and our users. And while we are all creating products that should be intuitive and fun to use, good documentation is what actually keeps the customer warm and cozy. So don't underestimate documentation. When it comes to the work atmosphere, we do believe that a good climate and a nice working atmosphere is key for keeping creative and keeping up a good team spirit. So we done. But obviously that is also part of the game. We do moan together, and I've just done a little keyword search so that you know what I'm talking about. Obviously the team sort of helps each other, at least sometimes. And we also do celebrate together. And this is also important when you reach milestones for the team spirit, that you have team celebrations. Now we are a remote business that makes the whole situation a bit more complicated, but it does work out quite well. If you have a Zoom or a Skype meeting with 22 people, still a lot of interesting things can happen, specifically when you wake up the Australian team member in the middle of the night during a celebration. Well, then you're very, very fast back to the moaning section of this slide. And our daily work. So that brings us to a typical day. And as much as I wish that I could give you an insight of our typical day, there is no typical day in our business. Usually it starts with fighting the fire of the day, and that can be anything. If it is a server crash, a new bug is found, or maybe a new WooCommerce release and you have outdated template files, or Google is changing their page speeds algorithm, you name it, it can be anything. But one thing is guaranteed, something is happening every day. So while I can't give you a real typical day, what I can do is I can give you a workday timeline. So we do start in Australia, where our documentation team lead is working. Starting the day and the developer, starting the development day, and then we move over to Europe, where we have some development team members coming in, and also where our design department starts the day. And in North America, we have most departments where we have development design, where also our CEO Luke is located, and most support team members coming in. And finally in Argentina, another support member, and he's not finishing his shift before Australia starts over again. So in that sense, we're really doing 24/7 in the company. We manage that through a lot of channels. If it is projects and quite some repos on GitHub, or Skype channels. And in Skype channels, we do department channels where everyone who is part of the department is in one channel for the department. where it's easy to follow up with what was done when this team member was out, where you can easily follow up and also get some feedback and input from your colleagues. So this is how a typical day works. But now what do we want to achieve with our work? And that is a sort of friendship with our customers, with our community. And it's important. Getting in feedback from our audience in general, but also from the WordPress community. And then it does sound a little the same, because obviously anyone who is buying our theme is working in a WordPress community, but the WordPress community is obviously a lot more, and you can get a lot more feedback when you stay in touch with the WordPress community in general. So we do stay connected as much as we can, and that helps us to stay up with the latest trends in WordPress and with the web industry in general, because there are so many people, and you get to talk to so many people, you get a really good idea about what is going on. And that is also true for different kind of aware about the needs of freelancers on the one hand, also the needs of agencies. Understand the WordPress community. And that does impact our release cycle planning. And it doesn't matter if it is features, if it is our demos, or if it is UI and UX, it all flows directly into the release cycles. Just to give you an example, throughout the last few months, our demos, we do make plans on when we want to release what, but throughout the last few months, that has changed quite a bit. And we came up with some specific online business ideas and things like a takeout service and a restaurant demo that would change to be an online business, and all kind of things to adjust to the current situation where people were online but couldn't do a lot of things offline. So this is how our release cycles are impacted by what is going on and through feedback. I'll show you some stats that you know what kind of feedback I'm talking about really. This is about pre-sale comments, so questions and other pre-sale feedback that we get, and there's currently 34,000 comments, and that is higher than anyone else on the same market. Then we have ratings, so post-sale feedback that we get, are currently 23,300. Also a lot of feedback is coming in there. Then we do have a Facebook group where people or users help users, and they can also chat about feature requests and things like that. Currently 20,500 members, and we have currently 34,000 followers on social media. Loads of feedback coming in there too. And as I said, and that is 137 new tickets every day, and that to that number you have to add up the support tickets that are still ongoing, but that's just the new tickets per day. So you can see a lot of feedback is coming in there. But when it comes to ratings and reviews, there's also some, well, interesting situations that can happen, and I'm going to show you a few of them. For example, this one, some kind of magic must have happened to that guy. Otherwise, I can't see how a WordPress theme could do that. Thankfully, there are different feedbacks too. This is something that you definitely want to hear about your support team. For this one, I'm not sure if that is logically sound, but hey, what can you do? On the other hand, this is something that you definitely want to read about your development team. Regarding the next one, I don't know where this guy registered for support. Well, it wasn't at our company, but still, this is also some sort of feedback that you can get. one way I can just say thank you, because this is the kind of feedback that you definitely want to get from the customers. So you see, ratings and reviews can be mixed, but you can't take out of any of the reviews a lot for your company and for your future planning. So what does that mean for the community and us when it comes specifically to the WordPress community? We do believe that it is important to contribute to the WordPress ecosystem. And in our case, that means we work on WordPress a whole day, at least the development team does. And when we do that, we come across bugs in the code. The team not only report the things on track, but they also contribute bug fixes and new ideas so that the code becomes just better and better. And that's not only due to some of the standard plugins that we all know, but it's also for third-party plugins where we do more or less the same. If it's, I don't know, names like the events calendar, WPML and others, you name it, simply because a lot of them are integrated with our product. We come across things that we think it helps if we report that to the vendors of these plugins. And obviously we are happy if they report things to us. And this is why the community is so good, because people just exchange their knowledge here. And we also do attend WordCamps, and we think this is an awesome source to get to know your audience and to get to know the WordPress industry as a whole. You can talk to different people, you get to know their concerns and their needs, and you can exchange knowledge. It's really an awesome thing to do. So we definitely recommend going to WordCamps, whether it is the big ones like WordCamp Europe, where you can definitely meet interesting people, partner companies that you have, if it is from huge WordPress companies, or if it's even the co-founder of WordPress, a lot of interesting people you're going to meet. And yes, my wife told me it is a little awkward that I am on all three of these images, but then again, I thought this would be a little awkward too, so I just left me in the pictures. But it's not only about the big WordCamps, it's also about you have an even better atmosphere because it's a small event. You can talk to more people. You get to know the people throughout the years and can exchange your knowledge, and maybe you can even do some projects together then, which are planned there. But I guess I don't have to go on about this because I'm preaching to the converted there, so there's no need for this. And we keep trying to do more, like doing talks whenever we can. The community and the customers, what does that in the end mean? For us, it means we stay in close connection to our customers, as I said, because our community and only good and regular communication, which is key, is going to make sure that this community stays lively and that you get out the feedback that you need for your products. So having that said, we'll get to the Mr. Smartypants section, so to the section, what are our recommendations for you? Most important is have fun at work and love what you do just the same as we do, because this is where all the drive, the passion comes from, that keeps the creativity flowing. And this is what actually makes you, what is the next important point, it makes you work hard. And also keep dreaming. And when I say keep dreaming, I mean keep dreaming about better products and better implementations, better things that your customers can use. And some of you might have seen the WWDC from Apple from last year, and they had an interesting commercial there where, I don't know, developers all over the world were pulling all-nighters and working throughout the night to get their code clean and to get stuff done. And everyone else was in their beds and was sleeping and cozy. And the tagline of that commercial was, while the world sleeps, you dream. And I think this is pretty cool, because this is what it is all about, that we keep on going, that we keep on moving, and that we keep that we make sure that our dreams come alive, the dreams in the sense of creating the customers. As we also said, always try to have top-notch documentation and support. Don't underestimate that. That is so important. Your customers will be super happy if you invest enough time into this. Stay connected to your audience, get the feedback in that you are able to actually make better products, and keep connected to the WordPress community that makes your product known. It gets you more feedback from the community that shows you how you can do even better and improve your product. That is basically all I wanted to cover for today. Thanks again for having me here. And I'm closing with a little story. The ones of you who have been already at WordCamp Vienna this year will know that, because I've told it there already, but I think it just illustrates how the community works very well. It took place actually at WordCamp Europe 2018 when Philippe, one of our developers, was there at the conference in Belgrade, and at the end of the conference day he was approached by one of our customers, and he was wearing a company t-shirt, and the guy said, "Well, that's cool, can I have one of these t-shirts?" And Philip didn't have any anymore, and the guy said, "Well, would it be possible to swap t-shirts there?" And as funny as that sounds, that's what they actually did during the conference. They did just swap their t-shirts. So you can see within the WordPress community, anything is really possible. Even in 2 minutes, like a soccer-like celebrity is something that can happen to you. So for the rest of this evening, I definitely recommend try to learn something by talking to other people, by chatting to other people, find out something new, do some socializing, even if it's only online, as a community. So thanks again, and that's it for me.